Hello, welcome to Win Some, Lose More. My name is Dieter Loosemore, and I'm joined by my brother Rick for the Two Loose Top 50 Part 2 for 2024, numbers 40 to 31. If you missed the previous video, go find it, and you'll see all the new things. I had three new games last year. I've got four in this section, so most of them are in the bottom half, but that's okay. Kind of where they sit. Again, I've tried to balance out that recency bias a little bit, but four new games in this section for me.
Mm.
Uh,
Two?
three,
Two-ish.
two-ish.
Two.
I've got one to
No,
be pleased with and one jump into the list that you'll be pleased with.
sure. I think there's just no, I think there's really only one brand new and then two that are just climbers.
Sure.
Anyway, let's start it. Number 40 is Meadow. Meadow is a bit like I said in Quadropolis in the last 10. You point with numbers. It's not quite so constrictive in the placement of your things as it is in Quadropolis. But it's just very charming, very beautiful, lovely art. Yeah, if I've had to move this on from my collection just because of space, but it's just delightful, absolutely delightful. The expansion's really good. It makes him slightly longer, and I know some people that's not what they care for. I think it's fabulous. Just loads of ways to score points, and just one of those games that you can just say to anyone, "Look at this," and they go, "Oh, is that a game? Oh, is that a game? Oh, how does that? Oh." And as long as you don't put in the expansion, because it does make it slightly more complicated, you get everyone can play it. So, yeah, it's a treat. Meadow.
Nice. My number 40, new to the list, new to me. I owned it for a whole week before I was just a very nice person. Um, I played two from this series this year. The other one didn't make the list, top 50, but this one does. This is Trekking Through History.
Hmm.
Also played
Wow.
Trek in the World. Played both with our parents. I was camping with them, I think, took Trekking Through History because I was excited. It was new, fascinating. We played it, and our mum went, "Oh, that's really good. That's really nice. This is something I'd play again." So I offhandedly said, "I mean, do you want it?" And she was like, "Yes, thank you," and just took it. It was unclear whether it was
Oh,
to borrow, but I've seen them since and played it with them since. But it seems to be firmly in their collection now.
oh,
Um,
that's fine.
a very simple, again, family weight. It's what they seem to do. Kind of drafting, but every new card that you take from the central row has to be in date order newer than the previous one.
Hmm.
And the longer your trek is, the more points that will score you when you can't, when it's impossible to go forward in time. You flip them over and start a new trek, a new journey, whatever it's called. Um, so it's like a time travel theme. It's really weird, but the production's beautiful. All the cards are huge. The
Hmm.
art is gorgeous. There's on the backs of the cards is just the history of whatever moment in time it's talking about, like real historical stuff. Um, but in the standard edition, the central everybody play area is a neoprene mat. Like it's just everything's just well done and is
Wow.
often on sale at a very reasonable price point. So if you like
Hey.
light fun games with some decision space. Like it's not as simple as that because then there's also when you take these cards, depending on almost a Spice Road type thing, where you take it from, you get better and
Yeah.
better resources or something. Um, and so then you're filling up your little board to get extra points and stuff. It's
Hmm.
not thematic, but it evokes a theme really nicely and it's
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But
and so then trekking through history is better than trekking through the world, you'd say.
in my opinion. Trekking
Yeah, okay.
through the world is Ticket to Ride for people that don't like Ticket to Ride.
Who
It
are these
works.
people?
Who are you? Our mother, for one, prefers Trekking
Yeah.
the World. Um,
Although she's since played Ticket to Ride and gone, oh, that's fun. I was like, you always said you hated it. She was like, yeah, I don't know why.
yeah.
So
What are you going to do? But yeah, 40 Trekking Through History.
Another game that belongs to our parents is my number 39. And I really wish that I had bought this for myself when I bought it for I think I bought it for my dad because it was 12.99 on Amazon. I was like, that's a really good price. People seem to rave about this. Looks like they might enjoy it. I've since played it with him and gone, oh, I really like it. And this is Santorini, which I still haven't played in two player, which I think is the only way you've played it. And I've played it in three player, but it was great, and it's a spatial puzzle, and I don't normally like those. Again, production quality. Oh my,
So
let's
good.
build Santorini. Yes, it looks great. And then there's special powers, which I didn't even get to, but me and my wife and our dad, we just played it, and then we played it again, and I beat them twice in a row, which for me, spatial puzzle, who knew? Mainly because they were getting at each other, which is great. But yeah, just charming theme, well made. I don't care about the new Kickstarter version, so I'm really hoping that I might be able to get the base version again. Not quite the base version, but the latest version before that. Will I get it for £13? Probably not. I probably missed the boat on that. Good game though.
Very good game that I will keep quiet about. Down 19 spaces. You won't be pleased it's still in the top 50, but you will be pleased that it's dropping. Century Eastern Wonders. A pick up and deliver in the Emerson Matsuuchi Century trilogy. Um, Great. It's great. Stop hating. It's fun.
It
Moving
didn't
around,
even make my shortlist. Didn't even make the shortlist.
turning cubes into cubes. Who doesn't like cube economy? But with movement and upgrades and things that I just like.
Mm.
Yeah, Century Eastern Wonders 39, great.
Just happy without the boats, basically. All right, number 38 is new to this list. I actually got it last year, and I don't know where it charted because it didn't chart beyond the 50. But it didn't make the 50. And this year, again, the vagaries of Pub Meeple. This is Isle of Trains All Aboard,
Ah,
which you got me for my birthday 2 years ago. Um, and I've just it's really charming. Again, it's not stuck around in my collection because I only have so much space and because I don't play loads of card games, particularly card games that are imitating board games, which is kind of what this is. But this is one of those really rare jewels where interactivity is paramount
hmm.
because you can basically you're it's a pick up and deliver game, except there's no map and you're not really moving stuff around. This is probably why it doesn't normally fit with my vibe. But you're taking coal to this place, or you're taking passengers to this place on a train. Okay. But there's a step where you have to load your train. And you can either load your train and you've got coal, great, and then you off you go, or you can load one of your opposition's trains and you'll get benefit from that. But then they've got the coal. But you really want the benefits that you got from putting it. Ooh, I don't want to help you. It really helps me to help you. To what do I want to do here? And much like one of my very favorite games, which we'll come to later, that sort of byplay is rare and priceless. And yeah, I think Isle of Trains. I don't know if it'll stay in the 50. But it's a very nice game.
I'm always pleased when I surprise myself by getting it right for you. Couldn't have made mine, only played it the once, not with you, a different at my group, in fact. And after I'd given it to you, heard your kind of report, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll give it a go." And multi-use cards, always a dream. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, that tension of positive interaction, but
Yeah.
sense of it costs me something to give you this, but does the benefit outweigh the cost? And that constant battle is really cool. I have two new games. Um, Neither of them new to my collection this year. I just hadn't
Okay.
played them. The first of them was somewhere on your list, whether it still is. Dune Imperium.
Oh,
Lots of
yeah.
people love it. What's it, number three or number four or something on Board Game Geek? It's like super
Yeah.
loved. And I get it. And I know I'm about to sound very negative, despite it being my 38th game that I've ever played.
It dropped to 71 for me.
Oh, okay, fine. Um, it does lots of things very well, but if
Yeah.
it doesn't work out for you, it feels rubbish, uh,
Mm,
which it can. Particularly when you're new to the game and don't really know the game, and you're playing against people that do know what can come up and what should buy and
mhm,
what
mhm.
does synergize together. So that's a me problem kind of more than the game problem, because most
Yeah.
medium weights benefit from repeated play.
Mhm.
This just hit the threshold. I've only played this twice. Um, so I'm interested to keep playing it. That's why it's as high as this, because I want to feel more satisfaction from this. And I was
Yeah.
satisfying, and that combat element should be something I hate but really don't. It's cool.
No, no, it's good.
And where do I want to place in that combat? It's not just about winning it, which is probably why something that I
Mhm.
would
Yeah.
dislike, but that strategic. Actually, I want to come third because it's going to give me this
Hmm.
second
Hmm.
thing. Yeah, first it gives me that point, and points are hard to come by. But if between second and third, actually, I'm only just going to put one guy in because I just want that extra thing to do this extra thing, to do this other thing, to do this other thing, to do this other thing, and on
Yeah.
and on it
Yeah.
goes. It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. 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 You're absolutely right. The people who I know who play it, and almost to the exclusion of everything else.
Yeah.
Um, and so I can see it being one of those games. And that's why it's not one of those games for me, because I never want, I just like variety. That's just often how I do it. And I have only, every time I've played it, I've won it. So it's not, I'm not bad at it. I just sort of, you know, but yeah, but I don't want to play it and play it and play it. Yeah. All right. Number 37. Uh, Sticking in the same sort of place it has always done. Just one, just one. Basically, code names, but with a twist, which is that everyone else can see a clue. You can't see it. You have to guess what it is from their clues. They're allowed to give a one-word answer, but if anyone any time ever crosses has the same answer as someone else, that gets ruled out. And then you're left with one thing, and the clue was green, and you're like, well, I don't know, the sea, a pea, grass. You don't compete. It's cooperative. There's not even like you're beating a computer. You beat your own score. All things I don't like, and yet it's more an activity than a game.
Yeah.
But it's a fun activity, and I've played it with so many people, and it always goes well.
Um, this is advice that benefits nobody because nobody will be in this situation, but never play with our father. Um, but by all means, watch him play. My goodness. His clues are about three logical steps away from something that might be related to the clue.
Yeah,
And
I
they
have the same problem actually.
no sense to anybody except him. Maybe our mums, like, I've known you for 40 years. This is something do you mean this? But that's not even what it was saying. Very difficult, but always very funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my second, new to the list, not new to me, but I finally played. I argued with myself over to whether to include it because have I only played this once? No. I played it for one evening because they're like 20-minute long games and we played for 3 hours
Okay.
as a tournament. And so I played lots of characters, lots of games of Unmatched. So I've played probably half of all Unmatched that exists now, just in one evening, because loads of people brought their own editions, because different characters come in different boxes.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, Still within the kind of literature world, I know they're into IPs and stuff now, the not public domain stuff. Um,
mhm.
but like Sinbad versus Jekyll and Hyde versus Alice in Wonderland, Robin Hood, Bigfoot, for goodness sake. Bigfoot was a great character, by the way. May well not be your thing. We played at four, we played at two, yeah, because it's teams then four, two. Like we just played lots of games. I think it was 6 or 7 of us just kept rotating around, playing different things. And it's a lot of fun, card-driven tactical skirmish battle that takes 20 minutes. And so if you lose, who cares? Pick a different character, do something else. And like they're not perfectly balanced. They're really not. Some of them I don't know how somebody could win with. Like if some companies
Sure.
get you to feedback stats on who wins, like there will be characters that just don't win because
Okay.
they're just not as good, but they're still fun and they still give you that M's. But if I could just pull this one thing off, then they'll do this huge thing. So a lot of fun for me. So yeah, technically new to the list, but I've owned it for over 2 years now, I think, but finally got it out, unmatched.
Cool. Yeah, no, not for me. More for me than Arkham Horror was. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Um, my number 36
And there's Shakespeare
is
now.
new
You
to
can
the
play Shakespeare.
yeah. My number 36 is new to the 50. It was 71 4 years ago whenever we did the 100. And has stayed happily in the 100 but not the 50. But again, this is one of those which I now play with my kids and I just think is really good. And it's Love Letter. Um, and I have the new version of it, which has got the Bosley art
Yeah.
and is now up to 6 players. I actually picked it up in a charity shop, having got rid of my old copy many years ago. Sorry, no charity shop, completely sealed for £3. And I was like, oh, sure, yeah, it's worth
The
picking
place
up.
to buy it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you do. You bought it for £1, didn't you?
Yeah.
And but this is the new version. I took it to the pub with some friends and I opened it up and I was like, oh no, there's 6 of us. And I went, wait, this is a 6 player version. Cool. Okay, here we go. It's added in a couple of new characters. And my kids can play it. They can't read it, but they know what the numbers are. Do you have a 7? Do you have a 9? And they can chart think. My boy's like, the 2s have gone, the 3s have you got a number 4? Yes. And he wins it all the blooming time.
Why is he
And
Dutch?
I don't. Hmm?
So number fours.
Oh well, it's got this little German accent. You'll see. Um, he hasn't. But yeah, it's just one of those games that I just think it could feel like it's disposable. But it's really smart, and
Yeah.
I don't really like deduction games as a rule. But it's just so small. It's so self-contained. And again, I was teaching it in the pub, and someone was like, got halfway through, and she went, "Oh, I'm really enjoying this." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool." And she's not so much a gamer, and she's like, "But I can see that this is fun." I'm like, "Okay, cool, great." And it is. She's right. It's fun.
Um, nice. The 136 is up 30 places from 66. I think it's going to make you happy. I have now played it twice. Similar story to Heat. I appreciated it the first time and won. Um, and have since played it with other people. That's not the factor that's put it up, but just more familiarity, more seeing a scope. This is Arc Nova. Again, another one that people love.
Ooh.
And I think this is about its limit for me.
Sure.
Maybe the 30s.
Hmm.
This is the 30s, maybe the 20s, maybe. But it's it, it's so good and it brings so many things together. And I played recently with the expansion, which moves that card row along more and solves
Mm-hmm.
that. So even a bigger stack doesn't really matter because it feels like you're getting through it quicker.
And you have search options.
Yeah, so it kind of solved some of my, okay, that might be a sticking point. The action system is incredible. Love it so much.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but it's that half a step beyond what my brain is capable of mathing out.
Sure.
It familiarity may solve that, and I just figure out what I want to do with the game, which
Mhm,
you'll see in my
mhm,
top
mhm.
10. Some of them are just, I know how I play this game. I don't win with
Mm,
that, but I know what I'm doing because I like doing it this way. Um,
mm,
and it would take a lot of plays for me to get that from this because there are so many interconnected joining, but which is worth
mhm, mhm,
7 points instead of four. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
mm,
What? I can't figure that out yet. So a lot of fun and I appreciate it. And the cards are cool and I like animals. So like it all just works. Conservation as a theme is great. Like it,
mhm,
all of it's very good.
mm.
I'm not smart enough for it, I think.
Mm. Although I definitely agree with that. Not that you're not smart, but the sort of the crunching the numbers, which point gets you more like that is slightly obscure, and that's actually one reason I like it because I don't mind sort of invisible maths because
You can
I'm just
intuit
quite good
that
at maths.
way better than I
I
can.
do exactly, which is true. But what I do appreciate it about it, while it is really quite heavy game, is that I've played it with people who are Ticket to Ride level gamers, and you're like, here's a zoo. You want animals? Oh yeah. Well, what do you need to put the animals in? Oh, enclosures. Oh, there. Oh, there. Oh, it's fine. These five. Well, I want to do that one first, and that will get some. And they can do it. They might not do it as well as me, but they can do it. And I think that's quite remarkable to have a game that's as heavy as that
Mhm.
be as sort of accessible. And I think the theme is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that. But even that just 5 card action thing makes you go, oh yeah. I mean, sponsors a little bit, and the other one,
Universities.
association,
Oh, the
they're a
association.
little bit more obscure.
Yeah.
But on the whole, people are like, yeah, of course I want to do that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty smart. It's pretty smart. Oh, good. I'm pleased you liked it more.
Yeah.
All right, number 35, dropping from 22, and it was in the teens all the way until then, is Roll for the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played this yet?
Only digitally. Didn't understand it.
Yeah, you have to play it physically. Oh
Yeah.
my
Nice
word.
game. Why
The
would
best thing about it is that you go,
Yeah.
ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. Oh, wow. Didn't what I wanted, but I can modify that to do this. And if you don't know what this is, it's the dice version of Race for the Galaxy. For the longest time, I have preferred it to Race for the Galaxy. We'll see if that's still true. Purely because I like the sort of real physicality. I've gone blurry. I'm so excited. Um, I like the physicality of just chucking the dice and seeing what happens. It's a bit more generous than the card game. The card game's quite tight in its system, but I think it has to be because of that dice roll element of it. So it's a bit looser, but I think it's probably slightly more fun of the two. Um, but it's just it's too ugly to stay in my house. My wife just couldn't bear it, but which is such a shame because I think it's one of the most fun games in the whole flipping world.
And it's the best looking one of that whole collection
Yeah.
of games. Um, great. My 35 was on yours, last 10, down 14 spots. It's probably going to settle here. It was at 21 last time.
Mm.
And I think recency bias did that, and it's a lot of fun as a solo game for me. But we played it recently, and I've played it a couple of other times. Fantastic factories,
Mm.
satisfying, fun. Like I did terribly when we played a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
but still just satisfying because I get to,
Yep.
if I put this one thing here, this lets me do this to do this, and then I do that and I do that, and then oh, actually, I need a little bit more. Okay, so I use another dice for that, and then okay, that gives me this, and then oh, then I get to do oh, and then I get to build this. Like it, those comborific
Mm.
stuff is just fun for me. I like cards. I like
Yeah.
dice.
Yeah.
I like light resource management. Again, not smart
Mm.
enough, but dense resource management. But there's only two, and all it is to power things or play cards. It's super straightforward, but with enough little
Yeah.
twists. The graphic presentation. It's not necessarily graphic
Mm.
design, because I don't mean like the symbology and stuff. The art is, I don't know, just very
Yeah.
shaky, very just
Punchy.
pleasing, but
Yeah.
looks old and classic, but fresh and new. Like it's cool.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's just a cool, fun game. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Series.
Yeah. Yeah. I like. We love engine builders. Arc Nova. Roll for the Galaxy. All of these games are engine builders.
Yeah.
The fact difference with Fantastic Factories is it's just not pretending to be anything else. It's
No.
just like, oh, you like your magnet engines? We got that. That's what it is. All right. Yeah, great. Great. My number 34 is a climber back into the 50 after 3 years out. This is Imperial Settlers.
Full stop.
Full stop. Oh, no, not Empires of the North. I absolutely hated that. I did not care for it at all. Partly because it took out the stuff that I really appreciated from Imperial Settlers, which was the sort of um, the building a ruin to build on top of it, or to knock down someone else's thing so they could build on top of that. And I haven't played this for a while, and I was at someone's house, and it's got a whole bunch of games and over and all sorts of stuff that I've played 100 times. I was like, let's play Imperial Settlers. I haven't done that for a while, and I was like, this is great. This engine building again. But that I do love the sort of, I think, and maybe it's because of who I played with and that kind of thing. But Empires North just felt a little bit more removed, a little bit more multiplayer solitaire, whereas Imperial Settlers was a bit more like, I'm going to get you, I'm going to stop you doing this thing, I'm going to knock this down. But at no point did it feel like it was penalizing you because of that,
Sure.
and not in a sort of Isle of Train sort of way. They weren't benefiting me; they were actually knocking my stuff down. But then it gave me the ability to rebuild something else on top of that because there's cards in there that's designed to do that, and I like that kind of ecosystem. I've never played beyond the sort of four base things that come in the base box. I haven't played that Atlanteans or whatever. But yeah, I just think this is a solid game, and I've got a lot of time for it. I think it stands up.
Fair enough. Not tried it. Can't say. What are we on? 34, down one
Mhm.
spot, so the same. Um, and has settled here. Was in the 20s for a long time, is now in the mid 30s. That's about right, considering how many new games get added to my list. Played it probably twice this year. I don't own it anymore, but there's people in my group that do, so I have access to it. Again, just fun, like Fantastic Factories, Quacks of Quedlinburg, a
Want to play? Still
a
not
push your
played.
luck bag builder. So it almost has that engine building thing, but it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a chance rather than strategy of what you actually pull out um, to try and build up your potion. But each different color chit has its own effect that will do something, but you don't want to bust because then you only get half the things. And I know people don't think there's a runaway leader thing. There is, just don't push your luck as much as that. Like,
Sure.
don't be tentative because you won't get anywhere. But also,
Mm.
if you're just pulling to the end of your bag, of course you're going bust and running behind. Like, what's wrong with you? Don't. That's not the game's fault
Sure.
that you did that. Um, but just a lot of fun. Taught it to people. It's not quite as accessible as I think it is. Every time I teach it to, let's say, Ticket to Ride people, um, you have to learn like six powers. That's a lot
Mm.
for people that don't play those kinds of games. So it's that's why it left my collection because it just couldn't come out to as many people as I wanted it to, and because I have
Yeah,
access to it within my group, still get to play it.
yeah,
A lot of fun. Quacks of Quedlinburg.
yeah. My number 33. It could be a crossover. Could be a crossover.
It's
I think
in
I
the
can see
list
it over
maybe,
your
but not for
shoulder.
33.
Huh? Not with your 33. No, but I mean in this list.
Right.
In the 30s. I think I can see it over your shoulder. And it is just magic. It's magic. It involves 8 cards and some cubes of yellow, blue, and red, and a map of Great Britain. The King is Dead, second edition, which is just magic. Just magic. I don't have it anymore. Had to move it on for space and play in a number of plays and that kind of thing. Yes, I could see it there. But wow, wow, what a game. What a game where you just go, I'm going to do that action, but I might not do that action. I might pass this round. Basically, you're choosing 8 different regions in the UK to fight over, and put a cube on, and you do that with just 8 cards that do different things, which means you can play 1 card per round, but you might just go, I'm not going to put one on this one, or I'll put 3 on this one because I'm really trying to compete for it, and then you resolve it. If not, the French could invade, and it's this tiny, tiny little thing, and it looks like it's going to be nothing, but it's magic. It's magic. It's so rich. It's so deep. It's so juicy.
Yeah.
Magic, magic game.
My 33 down 9 spots, but actually is probably a more realistic thing. Again, that recency bias. I've now played it more with more people, different player counts. Has magic in it a little bit, magic items. A game you will never care to play, but I really enjoy and is over my other shoulder, Role Player. This
Sure.
dice drafting to maths together a D&D character. What a theme. I'm always tempted by the first expansion, which lets you then do stuff with that character a bit more, but it's as expensive as the base game for a third as much content, and it just seemed I can never bring myself to do that. But
Mm.
I've played it, I think even just a month ago or so, so relatively recently, and just went, oh, I really like this. I really like this. And taught relatively, they've played some gamery games, but not particularly, and they got it and enjoyed it. And you're trying to balance a few things about the way that you place these dice. No, it's not just the numbers, the colors matter, the placement matters. It's just really cool, and it is a theme that I care about. I don't think that's the right phrase, and it's like this is something I'm passionate about. But I play D&D. I know swords and sorcery, Lord of the Ringsy, fantasy type stuff, ish. So it's one that pleases me. I
We
don't
can
know.
safely say it's a theme that I don't care about.
Yes, but yeah, 33 role player.
Yeah. I want to play this, if only to play the second expansion because my friend was the developer on it.
Uh,
Number 32 is new to the list. And I fear recency bias will probably send this shooting back down again. Um, but I finally played a Fatal Lacerda game,
uh,
and this, probably the only one I really wanted to play, is Escape Plan. And he's got the rep, obviously, of being Mr. Crunch, Mr. Heavy, Mr. Whatever. And I believe that. I've looked at On Mars, I've looked at other ones and gone, I think oh, no, that's not going to happen. This is frothy. This is fun. This is themey. It's chancy. It's push your luck. It's this. It is fun, and I mean, I love the artwork, the design of the whole thing. Like you look at the front cover, and it looks like a '60s heist. And when you're playing, it kind of feels like that. The police, they do feel like they're chasing after you. You are trying to like nip in places before. It's kind of, I guess, basically a pick up and deliver game. Yeah, that's probably about right. But if you go to places before your opponents, you get better benefits and stuff like that. But the police are moving around, you don't want to get caught by them, and eventually everyone has to make it to the escape. And there's like action point. I think I can't remember. But yeah, but the theme really carried, and it felt stressful. And I like that, I think that's really fun, and maybe it comes into that race game element that I talked about last time. I like racing, and again, it was one of these I played it, and I went, yeah, I won it, and I was like, just because I almost like I wasn't trying to be too clever. I was like, let's get in, let's get out, and go away with the booty. And it just gave me that. It gave me a real buzz, and I was thinking about it for days afterwards. I was like, this is fun. I was like, maybe I should become a Vitala Setter a fan. And I looked at all the rest of it. No, 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 that's not going to happen. No. But have you? I doubt you've played this, but it's great. You'd like it.
cool. Yeah. My 32 downfall spots, so about the same, was mentioned in the last video. For the King of Numbers and Colors, for a long time was like my favorite two-player game ever. I've probably not owned it as long as we've been doing these lists, and it's still here because it's still
Mm.
so good. And actually feeds a little bit into my 31. I'll explain that in a minute. Lost Cities, so good. Just take a card and put one down. That's it. But just to build up stacks of numbers in a color to get points. So lame, but so angsty on every turn because I want that thing, but I have to put something down and I'll just cover that thing up. And what I put down becomes available for you to take. And then you get to fill up your thing. But which ones are we actually fighting over? Will you just take white? Just do white. I'll take yellow and then we'll fight over green and red. And like it's just really good two-player game. Lost Cities, so good.
I'm gonna do my 31, but then can I guess what your 31 is off the back of that then?
You can.
My 31 has climbed 11 spaces. Something of a surprise. I haven't played it, but it's just very good. It's Root.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Former number one for me. It's everything I love in games.
Yeah.
It's cardboard. It's wood. It's a little bit of dice rolling. It's a little bit of interesting play. The only reason it started to fall for me is this is an asymmetric war game effectively, but with mice that look like toast and cats that are grumpy and like birds that blow themselves up and and a raccoon who's just doing what he wants to do. It's charming. It's delightful. The artwork, oh my days, it's so good. It's great, but it's so hard to play with anyone because it needs. If Dune was a game where it benefits the same people to play it again and again and again, Root is that
Yeah.
100 times over. Because
Yes.
it's like, hey, do you want to learn this game? 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 Because they're all happening at the same time. Really, you need all four of them to really make it work. And when those expansions, no, never touched any. Never going to happen. It's great. It's glorious. It's beautiful. It's tactile. It's fun. It's silly. There's stories. There's Root's fabulous, fabulous game. Just left my collection because I can't play the damn thing because no one can play that much with me. So there you go.
So what's my
Is your
31?
number 30?
What is it? What's my 31 and what's the link?
Is your number 31 Archaeos Society?
Over my shoulder. It is because again, it has that whatever I
Yes.
don't use has to go into a communal discard pile that anybody else can pick from. I played it yesterday to give it its second play to legitimize its place on this list. Aha! I gamed myself. It may settle here, it may settle lower, it may go up because I've only explored a couple of the different setups. This is a set collection sort of game, but to go up tracks based on Ethnos, which was an area control game, which is actually apparently now coming back from Command.
Print, yeah.
Uh, but I think I will end up liking this one more
Yeah,
because
I
it's
agree.
again that Lost Cities, Seven Wonders, Century Spice Road. There's a theme and it's there if you want it. But no, you're just getting together different powers to play these things to get to score different points, either moving up the tracks or the size of your sets. Just fun. Archaeos
There's a,
Society.
there's a bit there's a bit more theme than Lost Cities in that you're like, oh, the pilot does this, and you go, oh yeah, I kind of buy that.
Yeah.
79 for me. If it had ended up in the 50, I wouldn't have been sorry about it because I thought it was fab. I really enjoyed it.
So that's the next 10. Again, time limit. Always a time limit. So much panic. We're going to have to leave it there, but we'll be back next time. Do join us for the next one. Thank you very much. I've been Dieter. This is Rick for Win Some Loose. We're doing the Two Loose Top 50 2024. See you next time. Thank you very much. Goodbye.